An adaptation is a body part or a behavior that helps an animal meet its needs in its environment. The next couple days in class, we are going to spend some time talking about different animals and their different adaptations that they have that help them survive in their own environments. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is how do animals' body parts help them meet their needs? Yesterday, we talked about how humans have a basic set of needs, and so do animals. And so we know all birds have the same basic needs, but do all birds need the same adaptations? When looking at birds, think of some adaptations that a bird has. Some different body parts that you might be thinking of are different wing sizes, different shapes and sizes of beaks, or different claws or talons. When we look at the pictures of the birds on the right, you notice that all the beaks are different sizes and shapes. Why do you think different birds have different beaks? Finches on the Galapagos Islands in the Pacific Ocean look very much alike. However, their beaks are different in size and shape. Scientists observed and recorded information about where the finches lived, the shapes of their beaks, and their food sources. Scientists noted that some finches eat seeds, others eat fruit, and still others eat insects. Scientists used the evidence they gathered just as we did in the bird beak investigation. They inferred that the differences in the finches' beaks are adaptations to the kinds of food that finches eat. The scientists saw that the seed eaters have very thick beaks. The fruit eaters have short, stubby beaks. The insect eaters have sharp, pointed beaks. Let's look at these three pictures of the finches. The first one on the top left, let's observe its beak. You can see that its beak is short and very thick. When you look at the next bird or finch on the top, this beak is pointier than the first one and shorter. The finch on the bottom has a longer, more pointed beak, and it looks a little bit sharper. When we go back and look why their beaks are that way, the beak that is thick and heavy is used to break open large seeds. The beak that is short and stubby is used to eat fruit. And the one that is sharp and pointed is used to eat insects. Now let's think to ourselves, how does having a thick, heavy beak help a bird eat seeds? Another adaptation that different animals have that falls under the body part category is body covering. Every animal's body covering is an adaptation that helps the animal survive. Different animals have different types of body covering depending on where they live and what their purpose is. Now, some animals, like birds, have feathers. Why do you think birds have feathers instead of scales? Other animals, like bears, have fur. Why do bears have fur instead of feathers? And then when we look at a fish, it has scales. Think about where the fish lives and what it does and why it would need scales instead of feathers or fur. Another type of animal adaptation that falls under body parts is camouflage. Camouflage is an animal's color or pattern that helps it blend in with its surroundings. Camouflage is an adaptation that helps an animal hide. Many animals have body coverings and shapes that are camouflage. For example, a tiger's fur is striped. The stripes help the tiger blend in with the light and the shadows of the tall grass in its environment. Toads, like the one pictured below, look like pebbles on the forest floor. A chameleon's color changes to match its surroundings. The dark skin on the alligator's back make it blend into the swamp where it lives. Another type of adaptation that falls under body part is mimicry. Mimicry sounds a lot like the word mimic, which means to copy. Mimicry is an adaptation in which an animal looks very much like another animal. The viscera butterfly is a good example of mimicry. It looks like the monarch butterfly, which tastes really bad to birds. Birds often mistake the viscera for a monarch and leave it alone. The other category of animal adaptations that we're going to be talking about is animal behaviors and how those animal behaviors help animals meet their needs. Monarch butterflies can't live through cold winters. From observation, scientists know that butterflies travel south for the winter. To discover where the butterflies go and the paths they take to get there, scientists have tagged some of the butterflies. The tags let the scientists track the butterflies as they fly between their summer and winter homes. Now, monarch butterflies go south every winter. They go to places where they have the food and climate they need to survive. The behavior or action of flying south is not something that monarchs learn. It is an instinct. An instinct is a behavior that an animal begins life with. Instincts are adaptations that help animals meet their needs. Like the monarch butterfly, some other animals travel long distances to meet their needs. For example, female Atlantic green turtles go to Ascension Island in the South Atlantic Ocean to lay their eggs. They bury the eggs in the sand on the beach. After hatching, the young turtles move toward the ocean. Then they swim toward feeding areas along the coast of Brazil, more than 1,000 kilometers, about 620 miles away. When the female turtles become adults, they return to Ascension Island to lay their eggs. The turtles do not learn from other turtles where the feeding areas are, how to get to Ascension Island. They know by instinct, just like the monarch butterflies, where to go. Scientists hypothesize that the turtles are able to use the Earth's magnetic field to guide them as they swim. The Atlantic green turtle's instinct to travel to Ascension Island is an example of migration. Migration is the movement of a group of one type of animal from one region to another and back again. It is a behavioral adaptation. Many birds migrate to environments where there's food and a good climate. For instance, the pectoral sandpiper travels from northern Canada to southern South Africa each fall. These birds return to Canada in the spring when the weather warms up. Another type of instinct that animals are born with and they're not taught is hibernation. Not all animals have the instinct to migrate as winter brings colder temperatures and a lack of food. Instead, some animals adapt to the changes by hibernating. Hibernation is a period when an animal goes into a long, really deep sleep. When an animal is getting ready to hibernate, it starts eating a lot of food and finding somewhere safe to sleep. During hibernation, the animal's body temperature drops really low, and its breathing and heart rate also drop. As a result, the animal really doesn't need any food. The energy it needs comes from the fat that it's stored up in its body from eating all that food. The ground squirrel is an animal that hibernates. As winter approaches, the squirrel goes into an underground nest. Within a few hours, its body temperature drops to about 59 degrees Fahrenheit, and its heartbeat rate and breathing rate fall too. Before long, the squirrel is taking only about 4 breaths per minute. Can you think of another animal that hibernates? Now, some behaviors that animals have aren't something that they just know how to do when they're born. Some of these behaviors are learned behavior. They're not instinct, they're taught by their parents. Think about when you were a baby. Did you already know how to eat and feed yourself and walk and talk when you were born? Of course not. Animals are the same. Animals need to learn how to gather their food by their parents, so they're taught how to hunt. They need to learn how to communicate with those around them so that they can alert people when they are in danger, when they aren't happy, when they are going to attack. So some of these behaviors that animals have are taught to them by their parents. Can you think of some behaviors that humans learn? Okay, guys, I hope you did a really good job of listening to the past couple slides of information, because you've been asked by the National League of Animal Scientists to complete a top secret mission. I really hope that you paid attention, because are you ready for your mission? Your mission is to create the ultimate animal. What is an ultimate animal, you ask? Well, let me tell you. An ultimate animal is an animal that can withstand any situation, any climate, any habitat, and any other animal. It can withstand anything that gets in its way. Now, ultimate animals are a little bit different than the animals that we're used to. Ultimate animals are a combination of different adaptations, so different body parts and behaviors of all the other animals that we know, put together into one new, kind of funky looking ultimate animal that can withstand anything in its way. So, what you need to do tonight to get ready for tomorrow when we create our ultimate animals is get out a piece of notebook paper. Make a list of all the body parts and behaviors of 10 different animals. After you've done that, highlight or circle at least 5 of the body parts and behaviors that you think an ultimate animal would have. Be sure that you bring your paper to school tomorrow so you can be a part of our top secret mission. So let's do some practice ones together. I decided that the easiest, most organized way to create my body part and behavior list is to make a chart. At the top I wrote what type of animal it was, body part, and behavior. First animal, tiger. Well, when I think of a tiger, I think an ultimate animal would have a tiger's claws. When I think of the behaviors of a tiger, they're pretty fast, so I wrote speed. Then I think about the next animal. It's a turtle. Now, a turtle, its behavior, it's pretty slow, but it also has its shell, which can protect it. And its behavior that I think an ultimate animal would have is it's able to go into its shell. The next animal that I thought of was a rabbit. The body part that I think of when I think of a rabbit is its ears, and the behavior is its ability to jump really high. And the last animal I thought of was a snake. I thought of the snake's tail, and its behavior, I thought about how fast it could slither. After you've finished making your list of animal body parts and behaviors, check out this website, Switcheroo Zoo, to learn more about different animals' body parts and behaviors. You get to go through and look at different animals and pick out different body parts and behaviors and mix them all together to create one funky